and welcome to Indiavision. With us today we have Mrs. Sushma Swaraj. She is currently the official spokesman of the BJP, the opposition party in India. She is also part of the South Delhi Parliament constituency. In 1977, she was elected as the youngest cabinet minister at the age of 25, which was the youngest eligible age at that time. She was renowned for this, being the youngest cabinet minister. She was also in charge of labour, food and civil supplies, and the educational sector in Haryana. Throughout her time, she has also been part of the Information and Broadcasting Department of the Central Cabinet. She had a profession as a lawyer, and we have the honour of having her with us today. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
The current eligible age for voting in India has been changed from 21 to 18.
Yes.
Why has this been changed, and do you feel that 18 is a proper age, a mature age for people to vote?
See, I think all over the world the age has been reduced. It's 18 only. And I think you are 18.
Yes, that's right.
And I think you are mature enough to decide. If you are mature enough to interview me, you are mature enough to decide. Because by this age, students complete their plus 2 level, that is school level. And I think they are mature enough to decide as to who should govern them. What kind of a government do they want. And therefore, we also supported this reduction of age, and we welcome this reduction.
But why has it taken you so long to realize that the eligible age should be 18 and not 21 then?
See, ours is our democracy of the last 50 years only. And at the time of the framing of the constitution, I think the constitution framers thought that 21 should be the right age. But that's why a provision of amendment is in the constitution, that whenever you feel a practical difficulty, you want to change something, you can modify it. And I think after 40 years, it's a time when we realized that it should be reduced to 18 and not to 21, and there should be more electorate. And even children who finish their schooling should be able to participate in the voting structure. And we did that. So that's very logical.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, India allowed the women to vote right after independence. And at the moment, since the eligible age for voting is 18, this is both for women and men, but there's a lot of illiteracy in India. And do you feel that those that haven't had a proper education have proper knowledge and have access to proper knowledge of the different parties in India, in the government?
See, education and wisdom are two different things. And to know your representative, education is not that necessary. Though I am not undermining the influence of education or the importance of education, we are heading towards that also. Universal education, all children, especially girls and boys, should go to the school. That's one thing. But a democracy should be successful only if the electorate is educated. I don't agree to that. Because the common sense, the wisdom, see, I can just give you one example. In 1975, emergency was clamped in India. Whole India was silent. In 1977, when they got the first available opportunity to throw that government out by the power of ballot, they did it, and so meticulously they did it, that even the whole world was surprised. How could India decide in such a mature way? So there have been many instances such like that, where we have shown that only because of illiteracy, we are not an unsuccessful democracy. The way smooth transformation of power happens in India, it's amazing. So, though there is an importance of education, and we are going ahead towards that goal also, and I think we will achieve that goal, but still, only lack of education is not coming as a great hindrance in our democratic system.
You mentioned that there's a smooth change of power in the electoral system. Recently, we've seen a lot of change of government in India. What is this due to? And there's been a lot of controversy within the different parties, for example, in the coalition government as well. Could you bear a little insight on this?
See, when you talk of coalition, an element of instability is inbuilt always inbuilt in a coalition system. And what we have India today, nowadays, presently the government, it's not even a coalition government, it's a hodgepodge. It's an arrangement born out of compulsion. Because coalition also has some principles. That coalition is between the parties which have something basic or common in them. And there is some pre-electoral alliances for coalition government. Now most of these partners who are the coalition partners now, they fought against each other and now they are in coalition. So that's why this instability is there. About till 40 years there was only single party system, but now in this parliamentary elections we had a hung parliament. Ours was the single largest party. We formed the government, but it lasted only for 13 days because we did not believe in horse trading. We did not want to buy the MPs, and all of them they had a front against us. So they are running this government, but this will not last. Midterm elections is the only solution to such a problem, so that we can again have an election and we can have a stable parliament in which a stable government can be given.
Do you then think that since the elections, no single party was given a major vote, do you think a new party will be formed perhaps?
Not new party, new elections will give a very stable mandate.
You mentioned that the BJP was in power for 13 days. Do you feel that 13 days is enough to act as a government? I mean, you barely get into power, start stabilizing, making policies, and then before you know it, you're out again. But don't you feel that it was a radical decision that after 13 days they made such a...
No, 13 days is no time to show the results. Though in our time we could show the path on which we were going. But it was an unfortunate thing that all other groups combined against us and they branded us as communal. Though I can say it with authenticity that BJP is not a communal party. It's only a misinformation campaign and a disinformation campaign against BJP, that BJP is a communal party. Because we are the real secular ones. We say that everybody in India should be treated as equal. But nobody less than equal, nobody better than equal. Everybody should be treated as first class. Nobody should be treated as second class, but nobody should be treated as better than first class also. So that is the real secularism. But we call them pseudo-secular, who got united. But okay, I think next time when we go to the polls, the people of India, the electorate of India will bring us to power with absolute majority. Because you'll see a good graph of BJP for the last 12 years. In 1984, we had just 2 members of parliament. In 1986, our number rose to 89.
Wow.
In 91, we were 119. And in 96, we were 162. And with 162, we were the single largest party. So, and today we are the largest party. And now we have 5 allies also. So with that block, we make 204. Now it is unfortunate that a party of 40, and that also split in 2, is heading the government. So this has never happened in a democratic system, but this is going on. So, but I'm seeing any day a midterm poll, and I'm also confident that in these elections, people will bring us to power with full bang, with full majority. And that time we will show how to govern and what are our policies.
You had a lot of opposition. Why was there a lot of opposition from the different parties?
No, as I said, that they branded us communal. They said to have a secular government, we are going to go together. The thing was that their vested interest, because we were the party with 162. So if some groups come with us, naturally they'll be given very few ministerial berths. The major chunk will be taken by us when we are 162. The party with 1 member got united in that, and even they had their share of power. So 40, 30, 20, 15. So naturally they got more ministerial berths. That was the thing. So that was the only interest.
The policies of the BJP have said to be very pro-Hindu. And if you do come into power, what are some of the changes that you propose?
First of all, I must make it clear, Because when you say pro-Hindu, it somewhat sounds that we are for a theocratic state. I must make it clear that BJP is not for a theocratic state. BJP believes in Indian constitution. Indian constitution is secular, and we are for a secular state. So the secular character of India will not be changed at all when BJP comes. Rather, it will be strengthened, and there will be a real secularism, means equal treatment to all. So this thing must be made clear that we are not for theocratic state. Now, as you say, the policy, on the policy level, BJP wants India to be very strong and a prosperous country. So we say that corruption is the foremost and the important thing to be attacked, because today India is suffering from corruption. So to eliminate corruption will be our first task. And then making India strong, making India prosperous, that means self-reliant. So we have a beautiful men material. See, and that is the asset of India. We have such a big manpower. Now that is our asset, but we are not utilizing that. Look, why those very men, when they go out, they excel. They make very good professionals. They make very good technocrats, and they shine. But why are they not shining in our country? That means there are some bottlenecks somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think this best material available, the human material, BJP will see to it that we use that material and make India strong, because India was a very great power in our ancient days. But we have forgotten that ancient glory. Actually, what we have identified, that the feeling of nationalism, which was all pervasive during the freedom struggle, has died down during these 50 years. So we will rehabilitate that feeling of nationalism, and with that all things will be improved. The corruption will go by that only, and because all other nations which started their travel with us, for example Japan, for example Israel. Now these two nations, Japan has made his presence felt today as a distinct nation just because of these two things, discipline and nationalism, feeling of nationalism. And we see that India lacks in both these. So the feeling of nationalism will be revived, discipline will be brought, corruption will be eliminated, and then you'll see India as a new great power.
How about relations with Pakistan?
See, we believe in very friendly relations with our neighbors. We do not believe in hostile relations with neighbor, because then most of your budget is spent on defense and not on development, which can very well be diverted to development. And I can say that when BJP will be in power, we'll have the best relations with Pakistan. And I'm not saying just for saying sake. When Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the present leader of BJP in parliament and our future prime minister, our prospective prime ministerial candidate, he's the prime ministerial candidate, when he was the foreign minister in India, in Janata regime, we had the most cordial relation with Pakistan, and Pakistan acknowledges that. So when BJP will be in power, you see to it that we'll have very cordial relations with them.
What about the issue of Jammu and Kashmir?
Even on the issue of Jammu and Kashmir, the militants are on record saying that somebody asked them when would this problem be solved and how it will be solved. So one militant said, when BJP comes to power. Then the interviewer asked, how come? He says, because they will stand by the word and the offer which they make. If their emissary comes to us and say, okay, now this is the offer, it will be for us to accept or not to accept. If we accept, okay, the problem will be solved. If we don't accept, we will fight. And then also here on there, the issue will be decided. But he said that, because the interview was done during Congress regime, he said, but these Congress people, we do not know, there is no dependability, there is no reliability. One emissary comes, offers us something. By the time he reaches Delhi, his colleague just says diametrically opposed thing. So you must have a very reliable offer, and you must have the credibility. And since the BJP government will have the credibility, even this problem will be solved.
Okay. In World War II, the British were known to ease the freedom fighters through violence. And recently a lot of trial cases have been taken up, but none have been taken against the British. Is this something that the BJP feels is...
See, Kavita, India is a nation with distinct culture. And one of that distinct culture is forgiving, pardon. Pardon is a very basic feature of Indian culture. And you know, you must be conversant with the freedom struggle of India. It was a unique kind of a struggle in which we didn't kill,
Non-violence.
in which we didn't fight. Rather, we tortured ourselves. Ahimsa and satyagraha by non-violent means. So even that time we didn't kill them.
Yeah.
We didn't have any cases against them. Why have cases now? We have won. We are victorious. They had to leave. I think after leaving, if the Queen is coming, that's an embarrassment to her.
Yeah.
And she should be faced with that embarrassment. Why should we go in for cases? We have won our battle. They had to leave, and only in 1942 we said, quit India. So that was the thing.
Yeah.
Every Indian said, quit India. They have gone. I think scores have been settled.
At the moment, there is a woman reservation bill pending in the courts. Isn't this kind of hypocrisy where you have equality on one side and then you want to form a women's reservation?
No. See, equality is on paper. Equality is not on reality. And to achieve the equality on reality, we are talking of reservation for women. See, now in the present parliament, there are only 6.5% women. By no standards you can call it equality.
Yeah.
It's a house of 543 and there are just 39 women.
Okay.
So if it is equality, there should be 50%.
Yeah.
If not 50%, 40%. And in the reservation, we are only asking for 33%. So that means in the 50 years, over these 50 years, the number has deteriorated. Instead of increase in number, it has decreased. So that's why a situation has come where the reservation for women we are asking. And we have already provided this reservation in the grassroots level. That is the local democracy, panchayats, municipal committees, municipal corporations. We have already given this 33%. So it's a very logical conclusion that you provide this facility to legislative, or you extend this facility to the legislative assemblies and parliament also. And that's why we are asking for this reservation.
Now within the Indian judicial system, you have different laws for Hindus and different laws for Muslims. I realize that India has noted itself to be a secular state, yet the major population within India is Hindu. Why do you feel a need to have two separate laws?
The BJP is opposed to these separate laws. It's not in the judicial system actually. There are some communities which are being governed by their personal laws. First of all, I must say that I am talking about only civil laws, because criminal laws are already one. There is no diversity in criminal laws. Muslims are also governed by IPC, CRPC, Hindus are also governed by IPC, CRPC. So, but the civil laws when I talk, so civil laws means marriage, divorce, custody, maintenance, inheritance. These 5 things are governed by civil laws. And I think in any civilized society, all the citizens of a country should be governed by one law. But when I say uniform civil code or a single law, I must make it clear, we do not want Hindu law to be imposed on them. Because as you said that most of people are Hindu.
Yeah.
The connotation may be that we want Hindu law to be imposed on them. No. We say there are many things bad or discriminatory, even in Hindu law. There are many things discriminatory in Muslim law. There are many things discriminatory in Christian law. And in all these laws, the victim is woman.
Yeah.
Because their laws are discriminating against her. So we say that you study all these laws, but make a single uniform civil code, which should be based on man-woman equality, and which should be according to the 21st century, means it should be, a law should be actually civilized law, And then by that law, all citizens of India, be they Hindu, be they Muslim, be they Christian, be they Parsi, be they Sikhs, be they any owing allegiance to any faith or religion, they should be governed by one single law, that is Uniform Civil Code. And this demand is very much according to the Constitution of India, because the Constitution of India has two main chapters, one fundamental rights, another directive principles. And our constitution makers, they put this responsibility on the state, that the state will enact Uniform Civil Code by which all the citizens will be governed. Since last 50 years, we have not had any Uniform Civil Code. Whenever BJP says, they say it's a communal demand. How can it be a communal demand when we are saying it categorically that we don't want Hindu law to be imposed on them? Let there be a new enactment, a new legislation, absolutely new, but based on man-woman equality and on the dignity of human being. That should be the basis. And we should have one single law. We are demanding it, and when BJP comes to power, I think we will enact such a legislation.
Thank you. India has just commemorated its 50 years of independence, and 50 years is not a long time, yet India has gone through momentous and tremendous changes. How do you feel? Do you think that the rapid changes have been good for India, or have they had some setbacks as well?
You see, we have just celebrated our 50 years of independence. I think this is an occasion where we must analyze as to what we have got and what we have lost. So both sides of the balance sheets have many things to tell. I am not one of those who will just say, being a leader from the opposition party, that we have not achieved anything. That will be far from the truth. Because when we started our travel in 1947, we started with many bare things. Today we have big roads, we have industry, we are self-sufficient in food, we have good hospitals. So all this infrastructure we have attained after independence, and this is a very big achievement. So on the physical side, we have really achieved a lot. And even in international arena, we have made our presence felt in SAARC, with this Panchshil ideals. We had good leaders which had their entity in the international field. But on the other side, there has to be an introspection that the moral values have deteriorated. For example, corruption is rampant in India. And when I see the name of India in the top 10 corrupt countries, I really hang my head in shame. It should not be like this. A country which was known for its values, the deterioration in values is there, and all other things are subsidiaries, means they are the offshoots of this. So on that, I think we are really thinking very seriously. The Parliament is going to have a very special session for 4 days only on this, means the 50 years back and 50 years ahead. And all the leaders of different political parties, they are also making an awakening in the country. My own leader, the president of Bharatiya Janata Party, had a 2 months long yatra on the Swarna Jayanti Rath Yatra, means the Golden Jubilee Rath Yatra. And all through India, he gave this message, he took this message to the masses that that feeling of nationalism should be revived, corruption should not be there, and let us commit ourselves to make a new India, a vibrant India, a strong India. And I think 50 years ahead are very good. We have a very good future ahead. And I think after 3 years, when we enter the 21st century, again there will be a time for assessment. And at that time of assessment, I think we'll not be lacking in these things.
Let's hope not. Anything you'd like to add and say to yours?
Those Indian brothers and sisters who are there in Denmark, I consider them as an unofficial ambassador of the country. The official ambassador must be one, but Danish people will judge India by the conduct of their neighbor. If an Indian neighbor is there, how does he conduct? How does he behave? So I always say that, especially in this 50th year of University of India, we must take this pledge that nothing such would we do which will bring bad name to India. We'll always, while working something, we'll always weigh. I'm doing this work, whether it will enhance, whether it will increase in the dignity of India, in the name of India, the prestige of India. If it enhances the prestige of India, must do. But if there is a slightest doubt that it will do damage to the prestige of my country, please do not do, because you are the unofficial ambassadors and people will judge India by your conduct.
Well said.
Thank you.
We appreciate you taking time out for Indiavision, and we wish BJP and you all the success.
Thank you, Kavita.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.